The following is a presentation from PokerStars.com. This week on the big game, Tony G was sent home on his bicycle.
Well done, Todd. I got to get on my bike and drive back to the win.
Vanessa Rousso kept riding rockets.
Pretty good with aces.
And our loose cannon, Eris Jensen, took an early flight home.
Sorry, brother.
Simon.
All right. Just playing with you. It's my second cannon.
Meanwhile, young Scott Seiver just kept riding the money train. Can anyone stop this express?
No.
Find out tonight on the big game.
PokerStars.com Big Game.
We are wrapping up another big week here on the big game in Las Vegas. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose, and tonight there's almost $1.2 million on the table in our state-of-the-art poker room.
The Unabomber Phil Laak joined the table late last night and is quickly down about 9K. So sick.
The pride of the Amsterdam internet kids. Lex Veldhuis is down 61 grand.
Vanessa Rousso has earned her license to ill. She's up over 176,000.
In seat 5, Ivy Leaguer Scott Seiver has been flat out schooling the table to the tune of over 218K.
And Vegas cash game veteran Doyle Brunson has grinded his way up 47K.
And our final player, out of Ontario, Canada, is Daniel Negreanu. He's standing by with Amanda Leatherman.
Daniel, you knocked out our loose cannon last night, but now we replaced him with Phil Laak. What do you think about the trade-off?
Well, to be honest with you, that guy played really, really good. And Phil Laak seems like he just woke up. and I just want to bluff Phil Laak one time and be successful. And I'm going to show it. And I'm going to go, hey, 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 or something fun.
What?
I've never been successful yet, but I'm going to get him for sure. There's just no question about it.
Why are you so confident about it? Jeez.
I'm gonna bluff him. It's guaranteed.
Okay, well, good luck on that.
All right.
Once again, here are the rules of the big game. Every week of play lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit, then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. And every player must begin with at least 100K, but can reload all the way up to $500,000. And it's impersonation time for Daniel.
Phil Laak, and it messes with my. When I start with Phil, it's like you can't even, it's like you're there, it's micro magnesium. It's like
Micro magnesium.
crazy.
Speaking of magnesium,
Speaking of magnesium.
if you have a strip of magnesium and you light it, it will go out very quickly because it super consumes nitrogen. But if you feed it a continuous stream of nitrogen, the magnesium actually stays lit.
Okay, we've got a raise and a re-raise.
Then you have a flare of, if you can keep feeding nitrogen into a tube, the flame will never go out as long as nitrogen keeps getting fed because magnesium burns through nitrogen, not oxygen.
What a story.
I just love the line, speaking of magnesium.
Speaking of magnesium.
There's definitely something special place in my heart to hear. Speaking of magnesium.
Speaking of poker, Daniel flops top set.
Did you know?
Vanessa checks.
The more you know.
Daniel fires 4,500.
Phil's also got great stories about cobalt and boron.
Save those for later in the big game.
Vanessa has no pair and no immediate draws.
But calls anyway.
Against a player like Daniel, her ace high will be good some of the time.
3 of hearts. Rousso now has the nut flush draw and checks.
Just like that, she picks up a bunch more outs.
Daniel fires 9,200. And Vanessa calls.
Vanessa's really only looking for a heart.
But gets the 7 of clubs instead and checks.
Daniel's got the second nuts. 9-10 is the only cards that beat him.
He bets 28,000.
But that was the only draw on the flop. Vanessa seems genuinely torn with her ace high. Just considering the hero call.
Really? God, I really don't know what to do here. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Vanessa folds.
Yes, Sam.
Thanks.
And Daniel wins a nice sized pot to get the night going.
I'm so curious what you had there.
I really didn't believe you.
Huh?
Nice
I'm
fold.
so
I
curious
didn't have
what
very
you
much.
had.
I didn't have very much.
Nice fold.
I'm so curious what you had.
I had a pretty big draw, but I didn't have that
You
much.
should
on
have
the
taken
river.
like 20 seconds though and shifted in.
Shipped it in?
Is that what? That's what I should have done. That would have
Yeah,
been
no, I'm serious.
the. Oops.
That would have worked. Yep. If she did that, I was actually going to make a big laydown.
The viewing audience doesn't believe.
I was going to make a big laydown if she check raised the river. I made up my mind.
A big laydown.
I was going to fold 3 jacks.
You didn't have big jacks.
Even if Vanessa had insta-shoved the river, I don't think Daniel could have laid down the second nuts.
Daniel first to act, folds. Scott Seiver, suited connectors. And a raise to 1,500. Todd folds. Phil Laak on the button.
And you can't get a hold
Out.
of your, it's terrible.
Lex, Jack, Jack. Calls.
Sorry.
It's okay. Vanessa folds.
Lex is out of position with his jack, so it's not imperative that he make a re-raise.
4-5-9. Lex checks. Seiver checks his open-ender. 10 of diamonds on the turn.
Lex still got the best hand.
Plus the only diamond. And fires 3,000.
Lex donk bets when the diamond hits.
Scott quickly calls.
Scott might be afraid of diamonds, but he isn't drawing dead to anything but a flush.
The case jack on the river gives Veldhuis top set. And he bets 14,500.
We've seen Lex do this before, overbet when he thinks he has the best hand. Scott's got nothing he can call with, but he's thinking of raising because it's the only way he can win.
He folds, and Lex picks up a solid pot.
Scott may have been tipped off that Lex had a big hand since he cold called out of the small blind, and Lex doesn't do that very often. Played it cautiously till he knew he had the best hand.
Isn't it scary when, unless you have the nuts betting into Scott, are you a little scared there? Because you're like, is he thinking about making it 62?
Everyone keeps talking about this. When are you going to do that? I'm waiting for Scott to do some weird, like, what everyone's scared of him doing.
When I have the nuts.
You know what?
Okay, Scott is the nuts. He's been very active pre-flop, both raising and calling while out of position. He's dominated this table, taking down over a quarter of the pots in this 6-handed game.
And even more importantly, he's won the most money.
Scott is really good at metagaming. Everybody thinks he's completely crazy.
Metagaming is the game outside the game where the players are basically getting each other's heads, lying about hands, doing the opposite of what their opponent expects them to do. It's a big part of the game, especially when determining bet sizes and hand ranges. Can even include things that happen off the felt, like knowing someone just lost their job or is going through a breakup. Goes pretty deep.
We've seen him raise and a call.
The way of the live throw.
And a fold by Daniel.
Vanessa's out of position, but she's ahead of Scott's range from any position.
4-5 deuce.
Both players have flopped gut shots.
Vanessa bets 2,000.
But if it comes in, Scott would make a better one.
Scott calls. The turn, the 7 of clubs.
Other than making his hand, this is the best possible card for Scott. He picks up 4 more straight outs and all the club outs.
Vanessa, in the meantime, has bet 7,000.
Scott's got pretty good equity here. He could semi-bluff raise if he chooses.
And he calls.
Now, if he feels Vanessa has a very strong hand, his equity decreases. That could be why he called.
3 of diamonds on the river, an action card.
This is a terrible card for Vanessa. It makes her hand, but it makes Scott's one better.
Vanessa checks.
With a flush and a 4-card straight out there, Vanessa may not get into too much trouble.
Seiver bets 12K.
Scott's bet a little more than half the pot. He wants to make sure he gets paid.
Vanessa calls.
6 high straight.
Aw.
Or 7, but yeah.
Yeah, that either one.
No, Sam.
The one that uses the 6, not the ace.
Either way, it was good. The big game is just getting going. Much more from Las Vegas coming your way after this. Welcome back to Vegas, where Scott Seiver's been crushing the big game, and right now he's with Amanda.
Scott, you know I've been trying to get you over here all week, but you play every single hand. What's going on with you?
I don't know. Basically, people always seem to confuse me for some, you know, crazy maniacal player, but I just get dealt a lot of good hands, and I'm very blessed for it, so I just, you know,
What is your definition of a poker maniac? Is that you?
No, a poker maniac is a guy that's like playing, you know, deuce 3 offsuit, deuce 5 offsuit. I'm playing deuce 3 suited, deuce 5 suited. I show, you know, a lot of strength and discretion when I play my hands.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Get back out there.
Sure.
Stats time. Let's look at VPIP, which measures when players voluntarily put chips in play pre-flop.
Scott is mixing it up pre-flop over half of the time, and everything is going his way, while the anti-Seiver, Todd Brunson, is playing at the other end of the spectrum, taking far less risks.
But Todd's still showing a nice profit so far.
Yes, but the stats guys are telling me that right now Scott is 93% happier than Todd.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, I can do that then.
Brunson folds. So's Phil.
I want to play badly, but I can't with that hand.
Lex is out, and Vanessa.
All right, Scott Seiver.
It's funny, I remember when you were just Scott. Now you're Scott Seiver.
We
Now
were
he's Scott
we were
Seiver.
discussing this earlier.
Yeah.
No, we actually were. It's really funny.
Daniel raises to 1,500.
Scott Seiver. He is Scott. He's
But I knew him
somebody.
before he was Scott Seiver. He was just Scott.
He was Scott like Madonna, you know, just one name, and he went the other way, because now he's got 2. What are you doing?
41.
Oh, you suck.
Scott Seiver re-raises.
Why? How many chips do you... No, I'm kidding. Okay, what is it, 4,100? Yeah, I don't like Scott Seiver.
Daniel calls.
Nice kid and everything, but he's a pain in my neck, as they say.
10-5 deuce.
I'm gonna check to Scott Seiver.
Scott's piece of cheese actually missed the flop for once.
Let's see if that slows him down. Oh, he doesn't seem to care. He's got chips. And he bets 6,800.
Scott had the pre-flop lead, so he's still c-betting. Daniel's probably not hating ace-king right now, but he may want to play it safe.
There's a call.
Daniel knows Scott can't outflop him every time.
The turn. The 7 of spades. Daniel checks.
Scott has to decide if he wants to continue his ruse with 8-3.
He slows down. 3 of spades on the river.
And that's Scott's gin card. He's now got 4th pair.
Daniel checks. Scott checks. And wins.
Excusez-moi.
Almost bet 400 again. That's why I slammed the check. I'm like,
Vomit.
didn't have the power to bet the 400 again.
400, I would have just jammed you that time. I was so annoyed that I...
Wow, those are the most annoying losses. Oh, 3 8 of hearts, 3 ball
Like
on the river.
I was calling a lot on the river, too.
Oh, man, I
Should
missed
have
so
bet a
much
ton.
value.
I was like, just gonna let you bluff your money off and not expect you to catch. Boo.
Scott Seiver did catch, and no one can seem to catch him. He's re-raised Daniel with junk a bunch of times and held over him.
Is Holland where you can go to hash bars and smoke marijuana?
Yeah, and then eat fries with mayonnaise.
It's all starting to make sense now, doesn't it?
Daniel, you don't like mayonnaise?
Gross. I actually eat veganese. Veganese is yummy.
So I'll tell you something more that people really frown upon here when you order it. I also like mayonnaise on steak.
Yeah, there you go.
That's super nasty.
What do you just have like an
How's that
IV with
nasty?
mayonnaise.
Like A1 steak sauce. It's like the gross.
Daniel raises the stakes.
You put mayonnaise moisturizer.
They just like
mayonnaise.
Phil calls.
You like mayonnaise?
Yeah.
You don't like mayonnaise.
Yes, I do.
Lex is in 2.
He's just like, no,
From
you
the
don't.
condiment
I think I
spread
would
to the
know
flop
this.
spread.
Top 2 for Daniel. Laak checks. Lex checks top pair. Daniel fires 3,000. Phil folds.
Bad flop for Lex. When Daniel pairs his kicker, he's drawing almost dead.
Veldhuis does call. The turn, the 7 of clubs. Lex checks. Daniel bets 8,000.
Lex has picked up outs for a gut shot, but the 4's no good.
Lex
It's like
calls.
the first pot we've played, kind of, right?
exciting, huh?
Yeah. What are you looking for? Something good?
4 of diamonds on the river. Lex is checked.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't thinking that was a good card for me because I had good plans, but I'm just going to check and hope it's good.
I have 2 pair.
That's no good. Phew.
Daniel wins a pot of over 27K.
Pretty tight.
Pretty tight. Check. You think I should bet there, Lex? Really? With 4 diamonds, straights, flushes? I don't know. I don't know you have aces 4.
I mean, you should because
Scott
you should know
Seiver?
he has ace 4.
Yeah, you know.
Given that, you know, ace 8 beats ace 4, I don't know. I'd throw in a bet with the best hand.
You'd throw in a bet with the best hand because you're just... Never mind. Choke him freaking
Finally happened.
8-3. I was going to choke you eventually.
I don't know how you didn't 4-bet. It was set up
I
perfectly to
forgot.
get me to 5-bet, too.
I completely forgot about
It was
that.
just...
You should have mentioned it. If you would have mentioned you said you're going to 4-bet, then I would have.
Daniel's apparently added choking to his list of poker moves.
See if he can keep his hands to himself when we come back.
Playing cash games is very different in tournaments. You know, in tournaments, once you're out, you're out. But in a cash game, if you lose all your money, you can rebuy, you can steam. So you need emotional control. You know, if you lose your cool and you go on tilt, you can lose a whole bunch of money in a cash game. Whereas in a tournament, you're kind of protected.
Daniel's talking about steam control there. See if he can keep his cool with Scott Seiver sitting to his left.
Yeah, you can't re-raise in PO because you can't get them out, right?
Daniel gets us going.
I'm going to raise one more time and play the rush.
Raises to 1,500. Pocket pair for Scott Seiver.
Now Scott has a legit hand.
Come on, Scott.
He calls.
I know where it's going.
Daniel, what did I say about keeping your hands to yourself? Brunson over the top to 5,500. Phil folds. Lex folds.
You made it 55.
Ace queen for
So
Vanessa.
like, yeah, I limped some pots, and that's why they just folded on the flop.
Re-raise to 15,000. Gets Daniel out.
Vanessa just squeezed out Daniel. See if it works on Scott.
15,000?
Todd still to act behind.
Call
Vanessa,
straight
do you have
flush,
under or
everything.
over 250?
I started the hand with 235-ish.
Worst spot ever.
Scott's used to doing the squeezing, not being
Just
squeezed.
be careful, be careful.
Scott folds.
You're the only person I'd fold this for at the table.
I don't want to see.
Todd folds as well.
I mean, I wasn't bluffing. I think I had the best hand.
Oh, I believe you. I wouldn't have folded.
What did you fold?
Deuces.
What did you fold? You can
Eights.
tell.
Eights.
Why do you don't think I would have folded that?
Now, Joe, Todd said he would only fold that hand to Vanessa. Are you buying that?
Well, he ranks last at the table in all these stats. The numbers clearly show that Todd's been folding most of his hands all night, so I gotta think he'd also fold that ace-queen to other players as well, especially Phil Laak, who's got a reputation for being quite the nit himself.
Ace-4 for the anti-nit. He limps in. Todd folds. So does Phil. Lex, king-queen offsuit. Raise to 1,800.
Flat out.
Vanessa folds. Daniel's out.
We know Scott Seiver hates to fold pre-flop. In this case, his ace-high is pretty good for now.
And he calls. Queen, king, 6. Seiver checks. Lex, top 2 pair. Bets 3,200.
For any normal player, this would be an easy fold.
Scott makes the call, though.
Guess he wants to stick around and reevaluate on the turn.
Which is the jack of clubs.
Not really a scare card for Lex since it only completes a few hands.
Action is on Scott Seiver.
Funny.
Bets 8,200.
Scott's picked another inopportune moment to bluff Lex. He's actually repping a hand bigger than his own, but still likely to be smaller than Lex's.
There's the call.
At this point, I think Lex might even still raise a river bet.
3 of clubs on the river.
No help for Scott.
Wasn't bad.
Seiver checks.
Not a great card for Lex, since he has to wonder if Scott made runner clubs before he can even think about a value bet. That face seems to be giving pause for thought to Lex.
Veldhuis bets 21,000. And Seiver folds.
No hero call this time.
Really bad river.
I thought so too.
A nice win for Lex, but he's still stuck over 54 grand.
It's kind of debating if I would. Never mind.
Obviously, you decided yes.
No.
So the two young guns tangled and Lex drew some blood. But who will have the last laugh? Nobody knows. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Las Vegas, home of the big game. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose.
I like where your head's at, though.
Action continues. Hand 135 out of 150 for the week. Queen deuce for a sleepy Daniel.
Nom, 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 nom.
You okay, Joe?
Mm-hmm. It's contagious.
Scott Seiver will wake you up and raise you to 1,200. Brunson folds. Laak on the button.
Wow, that's a yellow as well. This is
Broke
serious.
into the O's. Hold on, wait, I didn't even notice that.
This is serious.
Nah, nice, Scott. You saved me.
Phil's got a rep for being a nit. When he's in a pot, people take notice.
Vanessa's in this pot as well. 8 ace 6. Vanessa checks.
Top pair for Vanessa.
Scott checks. And Laak checks. 7 of clubs on the turn. Laak hits his straight.
Gutter ball.
Vanessa fires 2,500.
Vanessa has no idea how far behind her top pair is. And like the finale for The Sopranos, Seiver's open-ended.
Don't know how this script will end, but the chapter continues with a big raise.
Laak has the low end of the straight, but Scott's not going to have the high end often enough in this spot for Phil to ever fold to him.
No fold, it's a call.
Now, Vanessa's probably got a pretty good idea her pair's no good, especially when Phil Laak calls.
She folds.
Scott's semi-bluff didn't work. He's going to need a 10 or a 5 to catch Phil.
It's neither. Jack of diamonds on the river.
It's a good card for Phil. 9-10 already had him beat, so the jack doesn't change anything.
Scott checks.
22,400.
Laak bets 22,400.
Sounds like a good number. Why not? Phil knows this is a pretty safe bet against Scott Seiver. Scott might be Hollywooding a bit here, and he might be trying to come up with any way he could get Phil to fold his hand, but it's entirely possible Phil would bet this way with the nuts as well.
Scott folds.
Wow. What's up with that?
And winds.
I thought I had the best hand.
I mean, I really thought you were like ace-6 or ace-7, but I guess not.
Well, that win changes Phil's night around, Joe.
Worth waking up from a nap for. Now the only losing player in the game is Lex. Our loose cannon and Tony G both left the table down on previous nights.
I'm unstuck, boys. I know that's probably bad news for you guys.
Lockdown.
Boys.
Super locked down.
Boys.
Yeah,
Boys and girls.
We officially have, I think, one loser at the table. I'm just looking your way. I wasn't like.
Well, it is also, you're also talking about me, so you don't have to look my way for me to feel like, how do you say that?
Yeah, is that mean, you think? Amanda, I was like, there's one loser at the table. I was just stating a fact. It's not a big deal.
You're kind of being a jerk.
I didn't say people from Holland are no good at poker.
Just because it's a fact doesn't mean it's nice.
Ace queen for Brunson. Raises to 1,200.
I didn't say any of that. I love Lex. He's great. He's fabulous. He's cute. Cute boy.
Okay, hold on there now.
Please get each other's phone numbers on your own time.
Action folds to the instigator.
1,200, right?
Daniel calls.
Daniel's chosen to play a weak ace against the tightest player at the table.
Daniel hits top pair, but Brunson hits top 2. Negreanu is checked. Brunson fires 3,200.
Daniel's in a bad spot.
32?
He's dominated and he's out of position.
But he calls anyway.
At this point, it's just a matter of seeing if Daniel cannot lose the maximum.
9 of hearts on the turn. Daniel checks. And Todd checks. 5 of spades on the river.
Board paired. Daniel might think he's safe.
Daniel bets.
I call.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I call.
And Todd wins.
What? What the heck was that? I was like, no, wait a minute. Something's wrong here because I was sure I was getting this money back. There's like no way.
Come on.
100% sure. That's not even fair. What the heck was that?
So is this absolute read number 2? Oh, no one's even at, oh, you still at the tail, I was gonna say.
That's like, oh my gosh. I feel like I was cheated out of my money right there. I'm like, please call me, please call me.
Actually, Todd's stats tell us that you rarely want to call or to be called by Todd at the end of a hand.
It's not like I studied on the end.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, when you said call, I was like, okay, he has an ace or he has kings.
Todd outduels Daniel. More action when we come back. Final few hands of the week on the big game. We continue on from Las Vegas. Action on Phil Laak, who joined us late last night after the loose cannon was eliminated. Laak folds. Lex raises to 1,500. Vanessa's out. Daniel suited. Out. Scott Seiver.
Nice.
Calls. Pocket queens for Todd Brunson.
I'm pretty sure queens are in Todd's range.
I like that.
He just calls.
Looks like Todd might be trying to set a trap for these two guys.
8, king 8. Seiver checks. Brunson checks.
By checking to the razor, Todd either continues his trap or continues playing cautiously.
Lex bets 2,700 and Seiver folds.
Todd's thinking about it. Maybe he is afraid of a king or an 8.
Todd just calls.
I thought Todd might be slow playing, but maybe he really is afraid of a king, an 8, or even pocket aces.
10 of spades on the turn. Brunson checks.
Proceeding with caution.
Lex reaching for chips. Bets and insta-fold.
Gotta chalk it up to a bad read.
Lex on the comeback trail. He wants to see the show end with 6 winners. Is that what you're trying to do? Huh?
Only one is fine.
You can bust everybody.
Quick reminder, there's 378,000 in dead money out there from the loose cannon and Tony G.
I keep forgetting to sleep it.
Daniel likes the sleeper straddle.
By the way, I really don't want a sleeper straddle, but I know that if I just pretend that I want to, I can get Lex to stop me.
That's super advanced.
Pocket pair for Daniel. Raised to 3,000. Jack 8 for Scott Seiver. On the button. Calls. Ace 4 suited for Todd Brunson. He calls. Phil folds. Lex out.
I'd like to see a king, 9, and a 7, with the 9 of clubs and the 7 of clubs.
Daniel's trying to conjure some cards, see if he has any magical powers.
He doesn't. Deuce 8-5. Brunson checks.
Pretty close.
Todd's got a gut shot.
Daniel fires 5,500.
Flop can't look too bad to Daniel.
Top pair for Seiver, and he calls. And Todd calls.
Todd must think there's a chance his ace high is good in addition to his draw.
Queen of hearts on the turn. Brunson checks.
No help to any player. Daniel still hasn't realized that Scott outflopped him.
Daniel fires 11,000.
It's part of the benefit of Scott's unpredictable style.
Seiver calls. And Brunson folds. The river, the jack of diamonds.
Scott Seiver just rivered 2 pair.
Daniel checks.
Only 1 draw came in, and it was runner-runner, so Scott will probably attempt a value bet.
How about a bet to 40,000?
It's a good value bet. It's nearly pot-sized. A bet this size is meant to confuse your opponent. It can look like a bluff. Daniel doesn't have the winner, but he may realize that Scott's capable of making this type of bet with anything.
Weird. It's kind of it's a cool hand, man. Whatever you got, it's fun. I like it. Good stuff. Good job. Well done.
Only if you make the wrong decision.
I'm trying to figure out what you have. Okay, so I'm going to go over it right here. Okay, there's a lot of draws that like missed, right? There's like There's like 6 sevens. There's like 3 fours, clubs, all kinds. Like 9, 10 of clubs would be sick, like super sick. Jack river, gutter ball straight. Okay, I feel like you think I'm gonna call, right? So 40, why? Kind of out there. I'm confusing myself. I was gonna call for sure right away.
Until you went through the analysis and
then
you
I'm
fell
like-
into my brain?
Fell into Phil Laak's brain. Phil Laak's brain. Okay, what do you have? What do you have? What the hell do you have? You don't have 8s, because that would be silly to bet. Why would you bet with an 8? Unless it was a jack of clubs and an 8 of clubs. Oh, that would suck for me so bad. Okay, think. Use what you got left. So like to give this hand to somebody else to make the decision. Somebody wants to buy it. Wants to buy this hand? Anybody? Wow, what do you got, buddy? What do you got? Phil Laak, go tell her what she's got, and I'll listen.
I think he has Jack 8 of clubs.
You think who does?
I think Scott Seiver has Jack 8 of clubs.
Pretty good read.
So, 40,000. You're betting 40,000. It only matters if I make the wrong decision. What say that again? What did you say before? I don't understand. I forgot. You remember? You forgot already? 40,000? Why?
I went to get a coffee. Has he called yet?
Nope.
You never have 3 of a kind, right? That's just crazy talk. Crazy talk, unless it's 3 jacks? No. Nope, not 3 jacks, not 3 8s, not 3 5s, not 3 deuces. Queens and jacks?
What do you have?
I don't have that good. But I don't have that good. If I had like real good, I'd probably just pay, but. Oh, wow. Scott Seiver. You make it tough to play this game. He does, he makes it tough. Oh boy. What do you got, Scott Seiver? Can't figure it out. 9, 10 of clubs?
Ace 6 of clubs.
Hang on. Wait, that could be a lie. One sec. It's a lie! Lie, for sure. I know that's a lie. Guaranteed. You just lied to me. Say it again. You have what? Ace 6 of clubs? You have Ace 6 of clubs? Is that what you have? Liar. What a liar. So lying. I know it for sure. Oh. It's okay. You were trying to tell me you have a hand that... Oh, I've changed my mind 17 times. Okay, I was so committed to just calling, and I think I'm going the other way now.
I'm going to give you one last thing I'm going to say that you can use.
Okay.
If you fold, you can pretend you're right until it's on TV, and that feels good. If you call and you're wrong, you feel bad right now.
I don't even understand what that means.
Folding keeps your confidence regardless.
What the heck? What do you have?
That's the summary. He did summary.
Folding keeps my confidence. Scott Seiver, what the hell are you babbling about? Show me one card. Let's do that. How about this? You get this for seeing one card. I'll pay $1,000 to see one of your cards.
Can you spread the pot?
He's trying to see if this is getting the right price.
No thanks.
Hang on. The bet's, it's going up. $2,000 to see a card. No? $2,200 to see a card. Oh, God. I know this hand's taking forever. I'm sorry. Why do you want to show me a card? Because you can't show me one that... You can't show me one that's...
How about this? Can we call the clock from the booth?
Oh, I confused myself more. I should just shut up, right, Phil? And think?
I'm just a witness.
No. Oh, I think I figured out something. And if this piece of logic is wrong, then it's what cost me. But I'm thinking you're not betting 40,000 with those hands. If you put me on that, yeah, I'm folding.
After the rain delay, Daniel folds.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to see it.
I put him on Jack 8 of clubs, and my second choice was Queen Jack of clubs.
Those were like definitely in my head.
I wonder if you got Seiverized.
Well, that would be sick, huh?
Seiverized, a verb to drive someone to the brink of looniness. See if Scott can add more to the dictionary and his account when we come back. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the big game, where the man with the biggest profit, young Scott Seiver, tangled with a very, very frustrated Daniel Negreanu. We heard Daniel hint about his thought process. So what was Scott's during that last hand? Let's find out as we go behind the poker face.
Lex straddled this hand to 800, and it folds to Daniel, who raises to 3,000. And I thought there was a chance he might be a little looser in this spot than he had been previously. I called with Jack-8, and Todd Brunson called behind me. And the flop came 8 high. Todd checked and Daniel bet, which I think he does a lot of the time. And I called and Todd overcalled fairly quickly. And I thought he had an 8 as well, very possibly better than mine. I wasn't too worried about Daniel at the time because I think he still has a wide range of hands here and that I was ahead of most of them. The turn comes a queen, which seems like a scary card, but I really think it's not that bad a card at all, unless Daniel specifically has a hand like king queen or ace queen or possibly queen jack. Todd checked to Daniel again and he bets again, but this bet is very, very small. And so I call again thinking there's a good chance I have the best hand, and by calling and calling quickly, which I did, that Todd might think now there's no way his hand is good and I can get him to fold the best hand of the three of us. So I call and Todd quickly folds. The river is the jack, which gives me jacks and 8s, and it was pretty much a dream card. Daniel thinks for a bit and checks. So now that I'm almost 100% positive I have the best hand, there's just no reason for me to not try and bet mine. So I bet very large. I basically thought that there were a bunch of straight draws and flush draws that missed, and I'm known as the really big bluffy guy. So when I actually have a hand, I have to make a really big bet here to make it look like a bluff. And after a little bit of time, it certainly looked like he was trying to convince himself more and more that he should just fold in this spot. So I figured at that point I had to try and talk to him. If you fold, you can pretend you're right until it's on TV. Whether he comes to the right idea or not, just give him more information to possibly, you know, overload him.
Scott Seiver. You make it tough to play this game. Yeah, I'm folding.
Luckily for him, he made the correct fold, but at the least I think it frustrated him for a while after that.
Daniel did eventually make the right laydown with 2 6s, but Scott definitely got inside his head.
Maybe you should take a break.
Maybe I should take a break? He's gonna put me on the rail. My brain is hurting.
Why don't you sit the next few plays out?
Yeah, maybe you should sit out for a little while. Yeah, I'm getting, like, the host is telling me to just take a break.
Yeah, the deck is not good for you at this moment.
Yeah, you should ask for a deck change.
Daniel's trying to hide his frustration, but Amanda's very intuitive.
Action on Todd. Folds.
I hope I did the right things. Then I'll feel really good when I watch the show.
Another sign of being Seiverized.
Locks out.
The most painful thing ever is those
watching and going,
no! Yeah, and you're like, no, and you feel like you have a chance to salvage it right there.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, wait.
Yeah, it's in the past and it's all on DVD. Yeah,
it's all DVD.
It's all in the past.
Lex raised with 9-5 suited. Vanessa re-raised with ace-6 suited. And Daniel folds. Scott. Pocket pair.
9-5 is the hand Scott played twice in a row against Daniel this week and won it both times. Pocket 4s must look pretty juicy to Scott, looking over at Vanessa's deep stack.
And Seiver re-pops it to 12-1.
With Daniel's chips.
That's cruel.
Lex is reaching for chips with his 9-5 suited.
And he 5-bets it.
And another raise.
Lex turns the business end of 9-5 towards Scott.
Vanessa folds.
How much do you have, Lex? Do you have any stacks behind this?
No.
Those are scary questions to be asked.
Especially when you're holding 9-5.
Raise pot.
Seiver pots it. And Lex folds.
Good fold.
Oh, Scott Seiver, you're crazy. He showed a 4, Amanda. What is this guy doing? So weird.
What he's doing is dominating the table in pre-flop wins.
I'll say this one goes to 11. Scott's got more than double the amount of pre-flop wins than Daniel, who ranks second, and 11 times the amount of Todd Brunson.
Scott Seiverized.
That seems to happen on Lex on TV like every time. It's weird.
Maybe I should just stop making moves.
Finally, some honest analysis.
Big slick for Phil Laak.
Oh my God.
Min raise.
Move is coming.
Ace-Jack for Lex.
Right there. Look at him. Called it. He didn't even look at his cards yet, and I'm like, move is coming. You might not think it, but this is a too good to be true squeeze spot already. It's time to squeeze.
Lex re-raised to 3,000. Action folds over to Seiver. Ace-10.
This might be too good to be true for Scott.
The sickest thing about the hand is that I only did it because I had 9-5, and I wanted to shoot out. No, plus it was a really good spot. But they keep coming up, and I keep losing.
It wasn't
them,
a really good spot. It's the first time I 3-bet you all.
So you folded, so it is a good spot.
He's right. He's right. He does have a point. It was a good spot.
Raise.
Scott 4-bets.
Too good to be true.
Todd Brunson with a pocket pair in the big blind.
I raised the maximum. Please allow me a minute. Oh,
steamroll.
He's in the tank.
That's not a move. I thought you were on it. I didn't even. Sorry, Todd.
Phil's apologizing for trying to bet out a turn. He probably saved Todd money.
Okay, I still raised the maximum. It was not a shot.
Phil pots it.
So after I call, 34,600.
I was fake tilting.
I love it.
How much do you have behind? I can't see like stacks in the back.
I started this hand with 114,000. So
Thank
now
you.
I have.
That's fine.
Scott's trying to figure out if Phil will fold to his 6th bet.
80 left.
The jig is up, Seiver.
I don't have the 4 of hearts in my hand. And I will give you $100 if I'm lying about that statement.
That's genius.
That was the one card Scott showed last hand. This time, Scott folds, and Phil wins.
That's pretty
Here's the 100. No, I'm kidding.
So late arrival Phil Laak seems to have turned a nice little profit here tonight. He's up over 40,000.
Todd Brunson walks away a winner as well, and Vanessa Rousso is taking home $131,000.
But the big story has to be the $250,000 payday for Scott Seiver, the biggest we've seen so far.
The loose cannon and Tony G bowed out early, and Lex had a pretty tough session overall.
Alrighty, guys, that was the last hand for the week. Vanessa, congratulations, nice win.
Thanks.
Scott, you're welcome back anytime. Just so you know.
Next time I don't want to sit this side, though. I got to get on his left. This wasn't fair.
Guess what? You don't get to choose your seat.
Well, I won't play then.
That's it, guys. I'm Amanda Leatherman saying goodbye for now. And remember, if you've got the cash and the guts, there's always a seat open at the big game. See you next time.
For Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose. We'll see you next time.
Of course, my dead money is welcome back anytime. Just cold 4-bet 5 straight hands.
How did you?
I won, I don't know, like 132 or something.
Thanks, everybody.
The preceding was a presentation from PokerStars.com.